I want to go back to the Rashee Rice injury. Let's hear a little bit from Patrick Mahomes on the injury that didn't cause on purpose, but accidentally, inadvertently, a turnover happens, and trying to make the tackle, you have a collision. This is what you get in the chaos of football. Here's Mahomes talking about that moment.
Obviously, the corner made a good play. I was trying to fire it to Trav on his body. I overthrew him a little bit, turned the ball over, and then I thought Rashee really made a good play. I was trying to tackle the guy and obviously rolled up on him. But if I just don't turn the ball over, that never happens, so you just got to try to get better at that.
Did you tell right away it was something that was going to take him out of the game?
I didn't know exactly what happened because obviously I was trying to make the tackle, but I know Rashee and how tough he is, so him being down like that, I knew it wasn't good. All we can do is pray that the X-rays in my eyes and stuff like that are better than what it looked. But next man up until he's back.
And again, he may not be back for the rest of the season. Last week during this show, we had a conversation about the reality that no one was mentioning the pending legal issues involving Rashee Rice.
Right.
And I stand by everything I said last week. There were some Chiefs fans that were very unhappy with that because, obviously, don't disturb our groove.
Yeah, I hear you.
We're trying to win another Super Bowl. How dare you mention that thing we don't want you to talk about? But you know what now? And I've already heard from some people in the audience that are curious about this. And it was one of the first things that was really gross. That was really gross. Too bad we don't have that on camera, although that camera might have always been on.
Might have caught it, but
Anyway. Okay. Get back to serious talk.
Yeah.
And I know this because the conversations I had prior to the season when trying to figure out where Rice's status was entering the year.
Right.
I think that Rice and his advisors would have liked, I want to conjugate properly now because circumstances have changed, would have liked to have gotten through this season, have a huge year, resolve the criminal case after the season, take the suspension, but did enough in 2024 to set himself up for big contract after 2025. Now that his season might be over, and all signs point to that, and hopefully they get lucky and he's able to come back. You know, I mean, hell, the Packers got lucky with Jordan Love's MRI, so who knows? But I got a bad feeling about it, and I think Andy Reid does too.
Mm-hmm.
Now would be the time. Plead guilty, get your best deal, take your suspension while you're injured.
Yeah.
Lose your pay while you're injured. If the league would do that, then you're free and clear next year. You have your big year next year, and then you set yourself up for your contract.
That'd be the right play. I mean, as long as...
I hate to be that calculating and strategic about something that's real-life events, but
it's real-life
you're
events.
in a maze. How do I get out of this maze?
Yeah.
What's the best way out of this maze? And before the injury, the best way out of the maze is let's wait to figure out the best way out of the maze until after the season.
Right.
Now the best way out of the maze may be get me out of it right now.
I don't think you make I think that's a very strong point. In fact, I mean, if I was advising, as long as it doesn't mean like I'm guilty and I'm going to jail or something like that.
You do your best deal.
Right.
Do your best deal.
Right. But if that's the case, I think you're on the right track.
The challenge may be getting the prosecutor's attention because I just feel like the whole thing had just been caught in this like nothing.
Right.
And nothing had happened and nothing had gone on. But if you're looking to take a case, you know, because they don't get paid by the hour, they don't get paid by the case. They're on salary and they're flooded with activity. If you can make a few phone calls and activate a process that reduces one of their cases, then they may be willing to do it. Unless you got somebody who just wants to be a hard ass and prove a point. Sometimes that happens. I haven't gotten that sense here because if they did, if there was a hard ass that wanted to prove a point, they already would have gone to Rice and said, here's your best deal, and you got to take it now because they know if he took it now, he'd get put on paid leave, potentially get suspended in the short term. We're not going to let you do this thing where you get to play all year and then deal with it later. We're making you deal with it now. So that may be the way that it plays out, and it would be smart if he's not back this year. If the NFL would give him credit for a suspension while he's injured, that would be the way to have this done and over by the time the 2025 season begins.
I'll be interested to see if he takes that approach. But for the time being, man, Chiefs, fingers crossed for good news with Rashee Rice. And for now, they better hope their first-round pick, Xavier Worthy, shows up. Did you see? And I think we have this. This is the farthest air throw Mahomes completed in his career yesterday on Xavier Worthy.
Wow.
I believe I have that right, guys? But can we show the Xavier Worthy TD one more time there? Because, I mean, he let this go for sure. They got the safety, the corner there, kind of flat-footing, whatever. But look where he releases it from. He's on his own 38, lets it go, and it gets,
what a miss!
I think 2 or 3 yards into the end zone easily, right? But really, great job by Xavier Worthy, kind of changing speeds, kind of giving the okie doke coming off the line of scrimmage and then turned it on, and that's too late for Christian Fulton to make a play and catch up to him there.
Yeah, that wasn't even the classic double move. That was just slow down, take a hard step, and
then
disappear.
Take go. Exactly right. Exactly.
So we started the list. I got some more ideas from the writers at PFT. We mentioned Amari Cooper, OBJ, Deontay Johnson, Christian Kirk, Devontae Adams. As I said earlier, I don't know that Mark Davis would ever do that. Darius Slayton, is that somebody the Giants could maybe would maybe trade at some point?
Is it him or a Jalen Hyatt? It seems like Jalen Hyatt is.
He just denied recently he doesn't want to be. He said, "I don't want to be traded." Which, when you're talking about it publicly, there's something there.
There's something there. So that could be a possibility.
Elijah Moore from the Browns would be a possibility.
Okay, all right.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, any of the Titans receivers, if they keep going the way they're going, I don't know what the cap consequences would be. I think you keep him. I think the cap consequences would be too significant, but Tyler Boyd's on that team too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, they're going to have to do their research.
I think the Bengals are going to stick with T. Higgins all year long, and the Bengals won, and the Bengals aren't going to hand T. Higgins to the Chiefs. But I think if you're Brett Veach, the GM of the Chiefs, you call every team that potentially is going to be in that category of done.
Right.
And you just like, hey, let's have the line of communication, and if we get to the point where you may be selling, then we may be buying.
Yeah.
They need the help sooner than later. That's the problem.
Right.
You need to target somebody who can say, go ahead and stick a fork in us now and get somebody to help in the short term, and then maybe you can pick somebody up at the deadline.
Yeah, well, the one that jumped out to me that has potential and could be sexy, and a guy that we know was thrown into the trade package earlier anyways, is the Amari Cooper one.
Yeah.
And we'll hit on Cleveland in a minute, and I know that, and we'll dissect that. But that makes sense in a lot of ways. And, yes, by anybody you talk to in football, he was going to be traded to the 49ers when Brandon Ayuk and the contract stuff went on, and it didn't happen, and it fell through for whatever reason. But either way, that's one that definitely jumped out and perked me up a little bit.
When he got traded by the Raiders of the Cowboys in 2018. Jason Garrett told that story last night on the podcast thing we do during the third quarter of the game, that Will McClay came to him in the 2018 season near the trade deadline talking about possibly trading for a receiver and mentioned Amari Cooper. And it's like, you can get Amari Cooper? Let's get Amari Cooper.
Right.
So that would be a possibility for the Kansas City Chiefs if the Browns are ready to move on from him and if he's ready to move on. And you may have some guys that start agitating internally too.
Sure.
We want volunteers, not hostages.
Right,
you may have some guys who want to get out when they see an opportunity to go to Kansas City and play with the Chiefs and catch a lot of passes and win a Super Bowl ring.
Right. Hey, there's no doubt about that. Everybody wants to jump on the Chiefs bandwagon if possible, especially a receiver. So we'll see how this shakes out.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.